Hello, 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 hello. Welcome back to Mincat Moving Through the Clouds. Thank you very much for being here and for watching the videos. If you're new here, you're very welcome. If you're returning, thank you very much. I appreciate you. I hope you're having an amazing day. Today I want to talk about emotional manipulators and generally how you can have a more balanced check in your emotions. Recently, I had a conversation with my mother, and we have not been speaking for a long time. I kind of went no contact for a while, and a couple of months back we started speaking again because I need to have access to my daughter. That's the only reason why I have to speak to her, to be honest with you. But she doesn't make it easy. You know, when people know how to use your emotions, they know you're an emotional person, they know you're a sensitive being, and they know how to manipulate your emotions. It's come to a place where I have grown to see exactly what that situation is, and I have accepted it for what it is. But of recent time, after doing some more healing, I decided maybe it was time for me to learn to deal with this situation and show up as a better version of myself and see maybe that could improve matters. I could be kinder, I could be more straightforward. I learned a little bit more on how to be more assertive, how to speak up for myself. So of course I would be able to stand up for myself and make sure that my point is heard. Because in the past, I realized it was easy to control my emotions and manipulate me because I get angry easily because I wasn't able to speak up for myself. Okay, I felt silenced speaking to her. But lo and behold, we had a little bit of a conversation in regards to my daughter. I made my point across. Look, I want my daughter back, and you're just taking a piss now. It's getting too long. It's just getting too complicated. What do we need to do to get closer to that goal? And she just kept deviating as usual, bringing this up, bringing that up, things that are not related to what we're actually talking about. So I stood my ground because now your girl is assertive, baby. I stood my ground and I said, no, 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 no. This is the topic I want to stay on. This is what I want to discuss. This is what's important to me. Can we focus on that? And she went passive aggressive. I wasn't surprised, but I was very disappointed. And suddenly I felt triggered. The old version of me wanted to pop out. I felt angry. I felt heated. I was like, how can you not care about how I feel? Let me just give you another way to understand this situation between me and her. Imagine I come to you and I give you money to hold for me. And I say, I will come back to get this money, or I will ask you to bring this money to me. And then a couple of years later, I come to you and I say, give me my money back. Can you help me? Give me my money back. And you say, no, I have decided to keep this money because now I feel like it's mine. And you should be grateful that I am keeping your money. Hello? It doesn't make sense, right? Only this isn't money. This is something more valuable than money can ever buy. And she just wants me to roll over and let her just keep walking all over me. I don't agree with that. The only difference between the old me and the now me is I'm choosing to be happy despite the fact that she thinks holding this over me will somehow continue to be a tool for her to manipulate me. She's unable now to meet me where she used to meet the old me because the old me would have fallen for that manipulation tactic, that passive aggression, fallen into her tricks and apologizing for something I know I'm not at fault for, and maybe trying to make sense of her reasoning, and then get angry at myself for not being able to communicate my feelings. And that will show up in other ways that will take up a lot of my energy, and I wouldn't be able to feel like I can do anything else. See, emotional manipulators have something over you. The fact that you are unable to control your own feelings. That's all they have on you. That's it. And the moment you start to realize that your emotions are your own messengers and they are not against you, they're working for you, you can open the door to working with them. Oftentimes people run away from their emotions because they feel like they're hard to deal with, or they shouldn't even deal with their emotions at all, which is also really bad, because some people just go to the extreme and just go off of their emotions and turn cold, and then they become resistant to anything warm coming into their lives. It's really painful for me to see that when people close off their hearts and turn off the world outside, because they know that emotions is how you get hurt, and they don't want to get hurt, so they become cold. I've had conversations with people where, because I'm very open and warm, especially when I'm meeting people or talking to people, it's very easy for people to let down their guard. But for people who are naturally cold, I've had conversations with them where we are talking and I can see immediately when the shift happens and the walls go up. They realize that they've let me in and now they're uncomfortable with that, so they just close off. And it's always very disappointing, very sad, and I can feel their pain. And because I can see it more clearly now, because I have dealt with my own emotions. Believe me, in the past, I was easily manipulated because I was unable to control my emotions, and I was highly sensitive. I'm an empath. I think empaths and sensitive people are more emotional generally, and they're the ones that tend to go to the extreme sometimes because they don't know how to survive on the middle ground. Some people are naturally good at balancing their emotions. Some people just have too much of it and they know it hurts. When you've been broken or hurt, your emotions are the first ones to get attacked. Quite honestly, people who are very sensitive know that sometimes your emotions being hurt is more painful than being physically hurt. And I've said that before. I've said that actually. Yeah, I've said that when my mom used to hit me, I know the wounds will clear, but the words she used to insult me are the ones that stick longer, because it took me forever to get rid of them and redefine myself, how I wanted to view myself. So I know emotions are scary, but when they knock on your door, when your emotions are talking and they knock on your door, your job is to open the door and ask them, what do you want from me? Who are you coming as? Are you coming as anger? Are you coming as sadness? Are you coming as a warning? What exactly are you trying to communicate to me? So let's say, for example, you get angry because someone insulted you and you were unable to speak up for yourself. Obviously, when those emotions rise up, they may come up as anger. And instead of dealing with them, most people will either shut off or maybe transfer it to someone else. But the best thing you can do is ask yourself, what is this anger trying to teach me? Oftentimes, when you sit with it, the anger will tell you. You're letting yourself be insulted without standing up for yourself. You're not setting enough boundaries in your life. You're not being more assertive. You're not communicating your needs, and you're letting people walk all over you. Obviously, those are all things that will make you feel less of a person, and you wouldn't have much respect for yourself. You wouldn't feel more of your self-worth. So you can communicate with your anger there in a healthy way, and then start learning these coping skills. Okay, let me learn how to be assertive. Let me start practicing speaking up for myself. Let me start standing up for myself and addressing my own needs, and stop allowing people walk all over me. And there it is. Your anger just gone away. And every single time you get triggered, you'll be like, oh, my anger is trying to tell me this. So when you start to have a healthy relationship with your emotions, you start to see, oh, you are working for me. You're not working against me. And because it hurts sometimes when things, happen that I wasn't expecting, I feel like I'm out of control. If you master your emotions and become the one in control, they work for you. The only time your emotions are out of control is when you haven't mastered them and other people can see that and they use it to manipulate you. And emotional manipulators are really good at that. They know your loopholes, especially people you're intimate with, family and friends, people you're close with. They know your strengths. They know the strings to pull. They know how to rile you up, to get angry. They know how to get what they need from you. And oftentimes, like when I was dealing with my mom, 2 weeks later, she called me wanting to be nice, needing me to soothe her, because I'm usually the one she goes to for things like that. Needing me, I was like, no, 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 no. I need you to meet me with the same passive aggression that you had 2 weeks ago. I need you to keep up that same energy, because I've already seen this face that you have. I already know this face. I've accepted this face as who you are. And I tried to see if you could change, but no, you are not changing. So I'm fine with that. I've registered that as your true face. So don't come around here acting different, trying to be nice. Because I know this manipulation tactic. You want to get through the sensitive side of me. You want to get through the empathic side of me so that you could get what you need. And then 2 weeks later, you'll go back to the same face that I know you to be. So this is how emotional manipulators continue to kind of manipulate you if you let them. And I keep saying if you let them, because the more you control you, the more you learn to control your emotions, you'll be like, that person wanted me to be angry. Why would I be angry? Let's say you were going to write an exam and someone pissed you off so badly, or someone broke up with you just before, and you are all over in your emotions because you're unable to control your emotions, and you go into that exams and you flunk it. Then you come out and start blaming that other person for how they treated you. It's not really their fault, if we're being honest. It's your fault for losing that exams. Because had it been you were able to control your emotions and put those feelings aside just for that moment and do what your goal is, focus on your goal, then perhaps you would have aced your exams. And then you wouldn't have to feel bad about yourself. But now you're shifting blames. You're refusing to look at yourself. We cannot control what happens outside of us. We cannot control how other people treat us. We cannot control how they trigger us. We can't control outside triggers. We have no power to do that. But we have power to work with ourselves, to control our emotions, to see them for what they are, to find out what they're trying to teach us, to continue to be on top of them, to be their master. When you master your emotions, you're able to even turn it off. There are times when I can see things very clearly and I can start to feel myself get emotional about it. I'm like, no, 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 I see you. Not right now. I know what you're trying to tell me. Not right now. I don't have the capacity to deal with this right now, so I won't deal with it. That's me setting an emotional boundary. And when I know you are emotionally manipulative and I have to deal with you, I'm emotionally blank with you. Like my mom now. I'm just emotionally blank with her. I can't afford to keep hurting myself because she wouldn't change, and I keep trying to give her passes. I keep trying to give her reasons just to hurt me more. Do you see? You can't be rational. I mean, you can't have a rational conversation with someone who's determined to get you at your weakness, who's determined to manipulate you to get what they want out of you. The only thing you have control over is you, and actually focusing on how you can have a more healthy relationship with your emotions. And please don't choose to close your emotions, because that's also another worst thing people do, because it just goes against you. It goes against your own nature. It doesn't allow you to feel all the beauty and the joy and the happiness that exists around. Sometimes when we get hurt, especially in love, people tend to close off their hearts because they don't want to feel that pain again. But feeling is a beautiful thing, and love is a beautiful thing. you can still find better love that is more suited for you, but you can't find it with a closed off heart. You still have to risk feeling. But when you know you are the master of your emotions, when you know you can control your emotions, then it doesn't matter when people hurt you, because you will know how to deal with it, because you are the master of your emotions. It's one of the most important things that we need to master in life, to be honest with you, because it spills over everything, into everything. When we are not in control of our emotions, it spills into everything. Your working relationships, your friendships, whatever. It spills into everything, and it just makes things muddy and icky. So you have to learn to find a way to deal with your emotions, and the only way to do that is by listening to them. I used to journal my feelings daily while I was working through how to manage my emotions. Why is this triggering me? Why am I getting upset about this? Why am I sad over this? Why am I hurting so much over this? Why can't I let this go? And then I found the reasons, and I let them go. I addressed them, I faced them, and I let them go. And because I was able to do that, it became easier to like not worry about who triggers me or what happens outside of me, because I know what is happening in here. We're on top of what's happening in here. So what's happening out there is none of my business. It will happen the way it's supposed to anyway. I can't control that. But I can control how I feel, how I react, especially how I react. Because all the triggers coming at you just want to see how you will react. And that's where your job is, to master that reaction, to master, and you have to feel it. That's the thing. You still have to feel your emotions to get to the other side. You can bypass them, you can ignore them. But as long as you continue to feel and have a healthy communication with them, that's it. Take a moment, just breathe. You're angry, take a moment, 10 seconds, breathe. All right, what can I do? Why am I feeling this way? What's coming up? Get out of those emotions. Be logical. Stay on the path of your goal. Your goal is to find out what that emotion is trying to tell you. Find out what it's trying to tell you. Why you're angry, why you're sad, why you're upset, before you react. The moment you continue to do those things, then you become a more whole-rounded person in terms of dealing with your emotions. And you will not be easily triggered, or to try to ignore your emotions and bypass them and be closed off to other blessings that may be around you. So I thought that was it really. I just wanted to talk about emotional regulation and how to perhaps deal with emotional manipulators, because they're all over. If you're new here, or you haven't seen any of my past videos, I just wanted to bring up the fact that I am an asylum seeker at this moment, and I'm an artist and a tarot reader. If you want to support me, please check out my Instagram page. The link would be on my bio. And if you wish to book a reading, I'm your girl, okay? I can help you find out blockages in your life, find out what you need in terms of moving forward, or generally anything that you would like to know. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you all, and I love you so much. I wish you a fantastic rest of your day, morning, evening, wherever you're watching from. Take care. Mwah.